your host, FatDag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at FatDag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 293. As you probably guessed, we are back in the home studio. This coronavirus thing is just making a havoc across the country, but not necessarily a bad thing in some ways. Let me go on and explain that. First of all, welcome to all of you. Thank you for tuning in again. 293 episodes. We are just rolling along. So 7 episodes away from 300. That could be 7 weeks from now. Who knows if maybe we'll interject one in early or so and do something kind of fun. But here we are, April 1st, 2020. What an amazing time to be alive. And so I want to kind of preface something I put on Facebook, I put on Connect earlier. We have right now the most opportune time in our lifetime. So with everything shut down around us and social distancing becoming a thing and stay-at-home orders coming out left and right across the country, now is the time to completely reinvent yourself. You have never, ever been given a better opportunity than right now. For the next 30 days or so, they say 30 days to slow the spread. So for the next 30 days, the government has asked you to stay at home, which means no one's calling you last minute and say, hey, do you want to go out tonight for a dinner party? Even though you already maybe pre-tracked and pre-planned. There's no sporting events to attend. There's no kids' ball games you're running to from place to place. There is nothing on your calendar more important right now than you. You've been given the incredible gift of time. And so what we have to understand now is what we do for the next 30 days from this point forward, what we do can last with us for a lifetime. It can even be something that's generational. And I opened before the show, we're talking with the live group on Facebook, and you said, think about the Great Depression era, your great-grandmother or your grandparent or somebody who lived through that. Certainly not drawing a direct comparison, but in that period in time, there are things and habits that they picked up as a result of that lasted forever. So have you heard of people maybe saying saving plastic silverware or washing aluminum foil or something crazy like that? Those are things that were learned out of that period of time. So here we are with the exact same scenario presented to us where now we have the opportunity to completely reinvent how we do things. And what you do for the month of April and what you do from that point forward will stay with you for a very long time. Make it count. Make it be something you're going to be proud that you're doing versus all of a sudden coming up into May and June going, I'm still doing this. And so the example I'm going to use is if you're going to sleep till noon, then it's going to be hard to get up back at 6 a.m. when May and June roll around. So set yourself up for success. Use this time wisely. You've been given an incredible gift, and it's time right now for you to do it. So happy April 1st, 2020. Man, I'm excited for this time. I'm excited for the next 30 days to see what you're capable of. I really want to know what you're doing, and so keep me in the loop as to how successful you are and how your life has completely changed. So thanks for a lot of you. WW, of course, switched to virtual workshops, as you know, and a lot of you popped into the virtual workshops, and that's kind of cool to see all of you in there. So thank you for doing that. You can find that schedule inside Connect, but certainly join in however, whenever you want. It's a lot of fun because we truly are better together. So thank you so much for all that. Let's go ahead and dive right into this. Show is going to be commercial free again. The Patreon community continues to step up. I encourage you, please, if you're not already, and you have the financial means to do so, I would truly appreciate you jump into the Patreon community and pledge your support to the show. It certainly helps me keep it going and helps me kind of rationalize, okay, this is working and there's time that I can devote to it. And so it really, your support truly means an awful lot to me at that time. So FatDag.com, click on the Become a Patron link. Certainly appreciate all that support. And for those of you who already do, thank you. It's fun to catch up with you every Monday in Discord, and then many nights last week we also caught up just briefly, just to say hi and see how you're doing. So there we go. They will bring this show to you today. Other than that plug, completely commercial free. So let's dive into it. The first email comes in anonymously. She says, they say, I don't know if it's a he or a she. It says, "Hi FatDag, I'm a prideful lifetime member who spent almost 2 years at goal after losing 60 pounds. I've had my ups and downs during my time on WW, but I tracked every single day, regardless of how many points I overate, and I never quit. I've always gotten immediately back on track the next meal or the next day until this month. I made it through the holidays beautifully, and then January arrived, and suddenly I just don't feel like doing it anymore. The drive, determination, the self-discipline, it seems to have evaporated. I don't feel like exercising anymore, and I'm waking up day after day and turning to food, even though I promised myself I'd start to eat better again, healthy. I have a chronically ill child, and I really thought I'd have a handle on the emotional binge eating. Through the years on WW, I learned how to deal with that stress better. I'm scared because I was really feeling confident and really starting to trust myself with food, and now the scale is up 10 pounds over goal. I care because the number bothers me. But I guess I don't care enough to do what I know I need to do to stay at goal. I know my why. I stare at old pictures to myself to remind myself not to go back. I journal. I attend meetings. But I just can't seem to snap out of this downhill slide and do the work that maintenance requires. Please help. Signed, a lifetime member, too angry and too ashamed of herself to even put her name here." Well, anonymous, first and foremost, please, let's get rid of the shame and the embarrassment, because what you're going through is completely normal. You're not the only one, and so you're far from it. And so when we understand that the shame and the embarrassment have no place in this journey, that's when we can finally move into a place of healing and comfort, where we can say, okay, now that I've gotten past that, I'm able to ask for help. I'm able to let people know how to support me or what I need for that support. But you've got to move forward from that place first. So I'm going to go ahead and line that out for you right now. I'm just going to say a lifetime member, and I'm going to put a period here, and I'm going to line out the too angry and too ashamed to put her name here. So it just says signed, a lifetime member. Congratulations on being a lifetime member. I'm proud of you. That's a lot of hard work. You cannot become a lifetime member accidentally. You have to put in the focus, the discipline, the effort, all the things you know how to do. You've proven to yourself you can do. Congratulations. That's an amazing accomplishment, one of which you should be completely proud of, and that alone should allow you to have signed your name to the bottom of this email. But let's go ahead and dig a little deeper, where you said losing 60 pounds, which is amazing accomplishment. Having your ups and downs is no different than where you're at now. The journey for so many of us is a series of ups and downs. We had it the other day. I asked someone real quickly. I said, they on one of my workshops, they had celebrated a weight loss milestone, a significant number, and they said, I reached that number, and I said, great. Let me ask you real quick: were you 100% perfect from the day you joined until you reached that milestone? And usually that, brings some chuckle to the room. And then the person specifically said, no, I was far from it. So that's what we consider the ups and downs of the journey. So there isn't, very few, I hate to say the word never, there are very few people who've done this completely perfectly from day one all the way to the end and are continuing to be perfect day in and day out. Very, 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 very few people can fall into that category, if any. So what that means is, for the rest of us, it is a series of ups and downs. And so how big the ups and downs are certainly depend on what's going on in your life and how you're able to prioritize and recommit to the journey. It's not a matter of do you know how? It's not a matter of do you know why? It's a matter of, are you willing to go forward and just to continue to keep trying? You've proven to yourself that you've done that, and you made it through the holidays beautifully. So therefore, you know that challenge, when it comes up again, is something that you're able to successfully navigate. So when January hit, we have to understand, maybe for you, that maybe there was this, there's a finite measure of how much willpower we have. And if you strictly rely on willpower to do this, you can be successful. But what we'd rather you rely on is changing your life completely so that you don't rely on your willpower. So let me go back. And so if willpower got you through the holidays, well, then as soon as the holidays were over, it was like, I need a break. A lot of times we hear something similar where someone loses weight for a wedding or loses weight for a class reunion. If there is a goal in your mind that is date specific like that, then you usually, as you get closer to the end, it's the willpower that drives you through. When the date arrives, whether it be the end of the year or whatever the event shows up, when that arrives, all of a sudden you don't need the willpower because you've successfully gotten there. At that point, you need to rely on the habits that you built to carry you forward. If you are suppressing some bad habits and you're really using your willpower to keep them at bay, then all of a sudden, when all of a sudden, life changes, we revert back to what we know to be comfortable. What we want to do, and the ideal goal is to make sure that the part of this journey that is comfortable and is natural for us is the part of the journey that completely works in a line with our goals. So as you hear this now, here we are, April 1st, I talked about in the opening of the show, it's the next 30 days. And so hashtag 30 days from now or something like that, let's go ahead and create a hashtag for the month of April that says, hey, I can do hard things. I can now, I can completely change my schedule. I can completely change my life. I can completely dictate what my schedule should look like. And then really build some healthy, happy habits so that the month of April is your best month ever, and you may learn something or two that carries you forward for the rest of your life. So keep up the amazing work. That's what I want to share with you more than anything. And so I get the number bothers you. I get all that. And knowing that, you want to stay at goal, need to stay at goal, all that stuff, but give yourself a little bit of grace right now to know that part of the ups and downs will always be there. It's what you do when you're riding the ups that really turns you down to get back into the down lane, and you can get there for sure. This next email may help you out a little bit. So Susan throws it on Facebook, I can do hard things, hashtag. There's a lot of folks like that, but this next email comes in, and it's going to be a good one that kind of summarizes that email as well. Out of Aurora, Colorado, Kevin writes and says, "Hi, FatDag. Hey, I was reading in the Wise Wingman Facebook group, and I came across something that made so much sense to me. Oh, I forget who it was, but someone had shared how their husband had made a point to her. He said something to the effect of, it isn't a lack of understanding of the program. A lot of people get frustrated with their progress. People are expecting a weight loss result when they haven't adhered to the program guidelines. He gave an example of a recipe. If you follow the recipe, the food will come out great, with WW being the recipe. If we follow the recipe, we will get a good result. But so many times we get upset and are frustrated when we don't see a loss when we haven't honestly followed the recipe. If you're baking a cake and decide to leave out the eggs, it's not going to turn out right. This was really my aha moment. I made a conscious effort to follow the plan and not eat whatever I wanted, and I hope that I would land with my Smart Points target. After finding this newfound motivation to remain focused, I lost weight for 4 straight weeks in a row. On January 4th, 2 pounds. January 11th, minus 0.8. On the 18th, minus 1.6. And on the 25th, minus 3.8. So I recently had a hip replacement surgery, and I've been unable to get any real activity in, making me more conscious of what I put in my mouth. FatDag, you've always said when you're out of points, stop eating points. Now I'm taking this to heart. I think to myself, I want to stay under my Smart Points budget and get that blue dot. This is the most consistent I've been since I first began WW. I've talked about being laser focused in the past, but truly I did not know what it meant until now. It's kind of coincidental that this realization happened at the beginning of the year as if it were a resolution, but regardless of when it finally hit me, I'm down 8.2 pounds in the month of January due to legitimate focus. I went from type 2 diabetic to pre-diabetic, and I got off my medications for hypertension and cholesterol, and this is when I was being somewhat inconsistent with following the plan. Now, with this newfound motivation, I feel like the sky's the limit. Like one of my past leaders always said, it works if you work it. That is so true. Currently, I'm down 79 79.4 pounds. I have a long way to go still, but I am locked in for the remainder of my journey. I wish you good focus. Kevin from Denver. Kevin, 79.4 pounds. Congratulations. What an amazing accomplishment. That is you following the recipe, putting in the ingredients, and really getting it done. So your ingredients certainly are some activity, some mindfulness, and some eating properly. That is your recipe for success, and you're absolutely right. We have to follow the plan. And so many of us trying to overthink this thing. And you think about from the concept of WW being $1 billion company, I'm assuming, right? So WW has probably spent millions of dollars researching the best way to develop this process. Probably way more than even that, right? And here we are, they develop all this and we go, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this instead. With no research, no effort, no control group, no testing. We just say, whatever they developed isn't perfect. They don't know me, so I'm going to do it differently. So don't overthink it. The recipe is there. Follow the plan and go out. If you want to be your own chef, then go be your own chef, but don't rely on this program to give you the success if you're not following it to the letter. I think that's one of the things that I know true to be for me is that, certainly as the scale for me goes up and down, up and down, up and down, the days that go up, I don't get hard on myself for it. I don't get upset because I know what causes it. And I'm not sitting here going, I'm doing everything perfectly and it's still not working. That's not the case. I know the day that the scale goes up for me significantly, that it's not because I put in my best effort. And so I'm working on a piece of that has nothing to do with the app. It really has to on me on working it and using the program, which is why I'm really excited about April, by the way, is because it gives me a chance to really dig in definitely and go, okay, what motivation, what changes do I need to make in my habits that completely change it? So Kevin, you bring up a great point is that we just really have just got to dive in and follow the plan and make it a lifelong plan for all of us. That's what we're after. And so 79.4 pounds, you committing in January for a huge weight loss in January. Congratulations. Keep up the amazing work. And certainly it's fun to have you in the Wise Wingman group to see where all the wingmen collect and collaborate and say, hey, here's what we can do to better each other. And so awesome work. I'm also proud of you for completely changing your life and saving your life. And so taking yourself off of type 2 diabetes medication, taking yourself off of medications for hypertension and cholesterol with your doctor's advice, I'm sure being able to do that is the hard work that you did. The doctor can only prescribe and unprescribe the medication. You have to put in the work to get the results that give the doctor the confidence to be able to do that for you. So when you did that, that's the greatest gift you can give yourself, is giving yourself the gift of health. As the world is certainly uncertain right now with health scares all over the world, knowing that we're in our best shape ever is what truly is going to motivate us now to continue on this path. As you look at the data that comes in, and not in an alarming way, but the healthier we are, the better we're going to fare. And so when we now know that there are things that we can do to give ourselves a fighting chance to be healthier, that's what we're after. And so you taking yourself off of type 2 medication and your hypertension and your cholesterol medication, you have now given yourself a much greater chance to survive whatever the world wants to throw at you. And you did that. No one did it for you. That was you following the recipe. That was you putting in the ingredients. That was you every single day making sure the oven was at the right temperature and getting exactly what you need to do done, and you did it. And I'm proud of you, and I'm glad that you shared it. Despite all the challenges you've had, you're able to still be ultra successful. Hip replacement surgery and not being able to get your real rest, you still can follow the program. This journey has very little to do with exercise. Exercise puts our mind in the right place to want to do more and do things better. But the true work comes from what you eat and what you put into your mouth, right? And so when you're out of points, for sure, stop eating points. So keep up the great work, Kevin. Super duper proud of you. Thanks for writing in. The third email of this show also comes in anonymously. It says, Mike, I want to say thank you for all the support that you give the community of people that want to be healthier and have better eating habits. I started my journey nearly 2 years ago now. I'm writing you now as I've been at goal and lifetime maintaining for nearly a year and a half. I have to say, I feel like maintaining has been even harder than losing at times. At least I thought I would have more freedom, which I do, but I still have to be conscious of what I have nearly every day. I've reached a point over the last few months that I have started gaining back the weight that I once worked so hard to remove. I started tracking again. I started to go back to meetings a little more regularly. I'm shooting for twice a month to hold myself more accountable. But I feel like I'm being sabotaged at times by what is both concern and love, and I think at times it may be even be envy. My background story is both my husband and I started this journey about 2 years ago. My why has always been crystal clear to me. It's related to health, pure and simple. Both parents have had heart attacks. One passed away not related to the heart. One has diabetes, and too many other family members to count regarding cancer. So the choice is clear. Don't go back to being 40 or 50 pounds overweight. When I started this journey, I had a partner. He was successful as well, lost about 40 or 50 pounds, and then got stuck. He found tracking cumbersome and eating healthy as boring and I think restricting. He struggled with measuring portions, and he has slipped back to some old habits. Why, you ask, am I saying this? Well, because I'm the primary cook and the grocery shopper, and how he views food impacts me too. So when I prepare healthier meals, he will eat them and then forage the house for additional foods, or he will shop and bring in some unnecessary foods that he and our young adult children like. And that creates a huge temptation for me. But the hard part was when I reached where I really wanted to be, which is about 7 to 8 pounds below my goal weight, I was pulled aside and I was told, out of concern or worry, that I was being too obsessive, compulsive about tracking and portion sizes, that I was starving myself, and that I was not having fun or living life as I should. Those words still haunt me. I had a frank conversation at the time that I wasn't starving myself and that I was eating until I was satisfied. But I knew that he didn't believe me. I pretty much stopped tracking then. I've gained about 10 of the 45 pounds I lost. Realistically, I just want to lose about 5 to 10 pounds that I regained. Not much, but that's because that's where I felt best. I am now working on tracking, but feel that I have to do this almost secretly. And I purposely take a smaller portion of the first round and go back for a second round. Second round, a portion to equal a realistic portion, and then make it look like I'm not overly focused on this journey. I'm slowly starting to get back to the weight that I want to be at, and also what my doctor endorses. I know that I'm not the only one out there with these challenges at maintaining, but if you or anyone has additional coping strategies, that would be great. I know part of my struggle, though, I have no control over it, is that I want to see my partner for life to be successful too, because I know the health consequences of him being nearly 100 pounds overweight. I know that I'm doing my part and that he has to be ready to do it on his terms, but the struggle to maintain is real. And not to have the support I once had makes it more challenging. Anonymous. Yeah, this is common, and this is really interesting. And so it's funny how when we completely change our life, things change in so many different ways. And so we find this new love and life and passion where we go, hey, life is better. I feel good. I have more energy, and so in some ways we change, right? And we become different people, or the people we always were destined to become in the first place. And some people come along for the ride with us, and some people are excited and they find it too. But all too often, the person closest to you doesn't find that same level of joy. And so to them, things become instantly foreign, and so they don't get the journey. They're not ready to understand it the way we are. And so when someone comes to you out of concern or with a caution, you can almost bet that it's not going to be great advice, right? Very few people come to you out of concern when it truly is concern. It's usually masked with something else. And so you'd certainly take that with a grain of salt. But I want you to know a couple things that I think are important. One is congratulations. You're a lifetime member. You're an amazing inspiration. You've lost the weight that you need to do to completely change your life. And that's all you are able to influence or to do. You can influence more. That's all you're able to do is completely work on you, and you've done that. So congratulations. That's where the celebration needs to be. Now, when we comes to working on the sabotage side of the journey, I wish I had some magic answer to say, boom, here's how it works, and just ignore the person who you live with. Not easy to do, certainly, right? And especially when they tend to internally are regretting their decision to stop maybe doing the program or to do something else, where now they're not having the same level of success. So you instantly look like a threat because they're not able to do it for whatever reason that's going on. So just, I don't want to dismiss it because that's not the right answer to you. But what I want you to know is that you're doing everything right. And the fact that he started on this path with you is encouraging to me, because that means deep down in his head, he gets it. Whether he says it out loud or not is completely different. But the fact that he was on the journey and had some success, he now knows that what you're doing is possible, and it's possible for him as well. And he deep down, I'm positive, understands it, even just a fraction of a bit. So the best you can do is to continue being the primary food shopper, continue to be the primary food prep as you are, make the things that you need. I wouldn't overthink the scale. Take what you need for food. Don't portion, small portion, 2 small portions equals 1 normal person. Just enjoy your day, track it, and move on. And then at time, allow him to just see that. Allow him to see a year from now, 2 years from now, where this wasn't just a fad for you, where this really is a completely new lifestyle for you. And so when he can see that, then all of a sudden maybe he'll revisit that. The motivation that caught him to join the first time is there. I told you before that that doesn't go away. When we start this journey, the reason we started, whatever that reason is solid. And for us to be able to commit to this journey, we're locked in and say, okay, I want to do this. And so we may forget from time to time, but it never really goes away. So what happens is it's been suppressed, and so maybe it's not on the forefront, but there will be something that'll come up that'll remind him. And hopefully it's not a health scare, but as things come up where all of a sudden maybe he can't move as quick as he wanted to, or something, noticing he's out of breath going up a flight of stairs, something along those lines, something will trigger him to go, oh, that's right. And at that moment, what he needs more than anything is to be able to look at you, who is still completely successful, who has a completely new life, who is doing everything properly, where he now feels the confidence to try again. Because the worst thing that could happen is if you now revert back into that way, when he needs and he's ready to attack it and go after it, he needs someone to be able to say, okay, it works. It's long term. It can happen. I need to see you being successful so that I'm willing to now step into it a second time. Nancy chimes in on Facebook, says, lead by example, which clearly you are, but he's going to need that at some point in his life. He's going to turn to you, because it's just the two of you. He's going to turn to you and say, yes, she can do it, and now she's my partner. And at that point, you're now a year, 2 more years into your lifetime journey where you can significantly help him along the way. And of course, we know that the only way you can help somebody is by modeling. You can't do it for somebody else. So go, shed that responsibility from you. That's not where the responsibility lies for you. The responsibility for you lies with you taking care of you first. And that's what you got to do. So last but not least, be the prize, show them for sure completely how it's done, which you absolutely have. So thanks for your email. I think we've had some good conversations in the past, to know that you're on the right track, and and we'll certainly continue to have as many conversations as need be, but you continue to show up for you is all that you can do at this time. Last email for this show comes in from Heather. She says, hello. My Connect username is Shania Twain 2020. I've been DMing you on Instagram for a week or so. I wanted to share this with your other listeners. I'm sure there is someone who can be encouraged by this, like I was when I heard you quit drinking soda. I've had multiple sodas a day for about 20 to 25 years. To say that I was addicted is an understatement. I had thought about quitting many times, and I've tried to cut back, but that never worked. So I realized that I had to go cold turkey. When I heard you quit soda, I decided that it was time. So I DM'd you for some tips and encouragement. I was surprised that you responded, and you encouraged me to do it, and you have continued to check in with me. I'm now 13 days soda sober, as I call it. The first few days were hard, but I was determined to be stronger than the temptation. After a few days, I could really feel the difference physically. I didn't anticipate that. I did use coffee, sweet tea, and water, flavored and regular, to help with the temptation. I know sweet tea isn't the best choice, but I'm not addicted to it. I find that every once in a while, I think having a soda, but it's only for a second. I remind myself that I worked too hard to give in, but I recognize that in the moment. I know that if I can conquer this addiction, I can, and I will make it to my goal weight. Nothing can stop me. Thank you for all your help and encouragement, Heather. Heather, I remember getting that message in Instagram, and it was, I love those kind of messages because I know that, when you go completely soda-free, it's a fun game for a little bit, but I know the lasting effects that are amazing that come along with it. So, it was absolutely cool, and I need to go on to Instagram and check in with you and see how you're doing because it's been a while since we touched base, but I remember you were rocking strong, and I'm confident that you still are. And so, a little background though. Yeah, I was the same way. I was easily a dozen sodas a day. I was, wake up to a glass of Pepsi, on the way to work, stop at McDonald's, get a large Coke, drive to work, finish the Coke when I got there, and around mid-morning, I'd run downstairs, grab a Mountain Dew. I'd come upstairs, I'd go to lunch, I'd have a large soda with lunch, I'd probably have a refill with lunch. I'd go back to work. I would, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd crash again. I'd go downstairs to get another Mountain Dew in a can, and I would drink that, and then I'd come home, and we'd have dinner. I'd have a large soda with dinner. I'd have a refill for sure. And then, somewhere around 7 o'clock at night, I'd have another soda. And then usually just before bedtime, I would grab one more. So easily a dozen sodas a day. That was my life for many, 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 many years. Man, I look back at that and I cringe. And I've tried a couple times during that period to switch to diet soda as well, and I would be fine. I would switch to diet for many months, but the true issue is the quantity never decreased. It was just switching from regular soda to diet soda, and what I really wanted to make sure I could do was can I beat this mentally? So I remember it was New Year's Eve, 2015. New Year's Eve, I said, okay, my New Year's resolution for the next week, I want to see if I can go 1 week without a drop of soda. And that was my goal. I wanted to go in just a week. So New Year's Eve, we are on the way to a New Year's Eve party at a friend's house. We stop at the grocery store. I buy a 6-pack of Coca-Cola in the bottles, the mini ones, and I get them super duper cold and the best ever. And I remember, around 11 o'clock having one and maybe 11:15 having another. And I remember drinking, making sure they were gone at the stroke of midnight. So as the ball was counting down, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm guzzling these sodas to make sure I get them all done so that 6-pack of Coke is gone at the stroke of midnight. And that's the last drop of soda I've had. And so when you think about what I was trying to do is I wanted to see if I could do it for a week. At that moment, I was not even considering giving it up for life. There was no way that was going to happen. I wasn't even considering giving it up for a year. I knew that wasn't going to happen. But I wanted to test myself. I wanted to see if I could do it for a week. And so I did. So next morning I wake up, I'm like, I got this. I'm pretty motivated. I can do this. And so the headache certainly starts coming. I start drinking water. I start drinking some unsweet tea as well. And and maybe even popping an Advil on occasion for a couple days. And and so I made it a week. And I'm like, well, interesting. I just went a week. I have never gone an entire week in my life without a drop of soda. Maybe basic training, but I think even during basic training I was able to find some soda while I was there. Don't tell my TIs at this point, but yeah, so maybe a week, so a week goes by. So I'm proud of myself. Hey, I did this for a week. And now it was like, let's see if I can do 2 weeks. Can I go another week? Because I just did one successfully. So my goal was to now go another 7 days. And so I went another 7 days. And that another 7 days, also now it's 14 days. And what I started to realize is that I'm no longer physically addicted to this. Now the addiction is purely mental. So then I really dug in and said, could I beat this mentally? Is my mind strong enough to attack this? Can I go an entire month? So I did. I went an entire month. Could I go 2 months? Can I go 6 months? Can I go a year? And so that has just continued, and that's how that process is going. And now I don't even think of it. There are times every once in a blue moon, there's a certain pairing that comes up, and I go, ooh, that would be great with a Coke. I have a water, and it tastes so much better with a glass of water. So when I see people who have similar interest, I'm all in. I want to help you do that because if you can go a week to 2 weeks, from that point on, it's a mental challenge. The physical, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know this to be true, but I believe it to be true, so therefore it's true for me. The mental addiction is all that's left. The physical addiction is gone really, really, really quickly. So when you're able to wash that physical addiction out, now it's like, okay, can I do hard things? That's what this mental victory is can I do? Yeah, I can do hard things. And so, but it takes you mentally saying, this is what I want to do because it's important for me to do. So when, like I said, when you DM'd in, I was like, yeah, I'm all in. I want to help you. I want to make sure that you can do this as well, because if you conquer this addiction, you can make your goal weight. It's that simple. It's the same mental mindset that it takes to completely change your life. So even you think about it now, here we are with the month of April with a completely blank slate in front of us. We have the opportunity to do whatever we want to do for the month of April to completely change our life. What an amazing opportunity April would be to say, okay, let's go an entire month of April. Can I go just the month of April with no soda? Can I go May? Can I add June to it? And so if you can beat that mentally, it's the same mindset, the same actions to completely change your life. And so every time I tried with diet soda, like I said, the habits were the same. I needed the complete cold turkeyness of it. And so yeah, that was kind of fun. So certainly thanks for reaching out on Instagram. That's kind of fun. I think a lot of people get surprised when they either email me in or they text me or they direct message me and I respond. I promise you I don't reply to all of them, but I think I do. I think I do a really, really, really good job of it. And I think so many people get surprised when I reply because they just weren't expecting it. And like, well, you can't say you want to help and then not help. Right? That's just not how this works. So I promise you, is if you reach out, I'm going to do what I can to help you. I have limited resources and I have limited knowledge, but I can at least listen. So certainly shoot me an email, shoot me a text. I put my phone number everywhere. 317-662-4214. That's a text number. Text me anytime and let me know what you're doing, what's going on. Email into the show, onair@fatdag.com. Let's get your email on the show, because something like not drinking soda and something like hitting your goal weight and something like being a lifetime member, those are all things that are incredible and that are worth celebrating. And there's nothing more that I want than to celebrate with you. I always want to make sure that there's a lot going on. And if we can celebrate every little step that we found along the way to be successful, we can be successful at anything we want to be. And when we do that, let's celebrate. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com. Click on the Wise Advice Podcast link. Send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. We'll make them part of the show. That's how this show works. It's 100% user content driven. You send an email in. I read it in. We talk back with a Facebook group discusses it. That's what makes this show unique. And I want you to continue emailing those celebrations and those questions in, because I really, really, really want you to be proud of what you're doing. I want you to use this opportunity to clear your head. I want you to look at the month of April and say, this is the most amazing month ever. You have a completely blank slate. You can do whatever you want to do. You can reinvent yourself right now. Never in the history of your life have you been given this great of an opportunity to completely reinvent yourself. You can be whoever you want when May comes around. Now is the time to make that happen. I believe in you. I'm walking with you. And together, we're going to get it done. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goals and go after it. On behalf of my producers, Heather and Lisa, and Jacob, who's not with us right now, but he's in the booth, we wish you good focus.